playwright, I mean, you name it, Nathaniel Cisco. Please.
I've been dreading this all evening. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Just trying to figure out how to read this next line. Bonsoir, Madame et Monsieur. I have translated my whole entire speech into French for our Canadian friends. Just kidding. I wouldn't have had time. Anyway, so glad you could all come and celebrate with us this evening and celebrate Alexander and Janelle's marriage, or their wedding. You know, that hasn't really started yet, until tomorrow. Anyway, that's when you start to wake up and you realize, oh, what have I done? All right. Anyway, I'm Alexander's younger brother, and he's 3.5 years older than me, but technically and knowledge-wise, he's 100 years older than me. We lived in the same room for the better part of my life, anyway. He would sleep on the bed, I'd sleep on the floor. In fact, I slept on the floor for half my life. Really, and it wasn't until about 2 years ago that Alexander started dating Janelle. And whenever I would arrive late in the bedroom, Alexander wouldn't want me to flip on the light because, wake him up or whatever, so I'd have to blindly find my way to my bed and trip over all the stuff that he left all over the room. And so I would always try my best not to make any noise or anything, or wake him up or anything like that. And then when Alexander started dating Janelle and going up to Canada and coming back at 2 o'clock in the morning, he would flip on the light and want to talk for 3 hours. I mean, come on, I've got work too. Anyway, Alexander is one of the most intelligent human beings I know. I mean, this guy can sit down and pick up a manual, even if he's not interested in the subject, and learn how to do it really well. I mean, he makes most very difficult things seem really easy. And then he tries to teach you how to do it. And you're just over my head, man. Anyway, but my mother always used to tell us, not all of you, has to be smart. One of you has to be handsome. I remember coming home from the first grade with a note from my teacher letting my parents know that I was struggling with my learning of my numbers and letters. And Alexander overheard my parents talking about this note, and so he thought he could help out. He sat me down at the dining room table and proceeded to... to try to teach me my letters and numbers using the I can't even say it anymore. It's just ridiculous. Pythagorean theorem. Anyway, my parents thought it was cute, so that went on for a while. That was my last day at school, and Alexander has been homeschooling me ever since. Today I am officially graduating myself from homeschool. Thank you, Janelle, for taking it away. Now, just so you know that I'm not exaggerating on Alexander's excessive intelligence, Alexander not only learned how to fly, but he became a pilot in under the normal 40 hours required for training. So let me tell a story here. Alexander's first solo took place even before he entered flight school. My grandpa Ron is well known and can be seen often flying around Linden in his experimental aircraft. Maybe some of you have seen it. One day he thought he'd teach Alexander how to taxi the aircraft around, or the experimental aircraft around on the ground, and it accidentally took off. But yeah, I know, it's like this guy's tricky, right? Alexander was able to fly it around and get back into position for landing.
Over Paul Parrish's farm.
Yeah, over Paul Parrish's farm with a bowling ball in the middle. Alexander was in the air and Grandpa Ron was on the ground. In the future, I wouldn't allow anyone else to do this. Anyway, the day Grandpa Ron told me this story, I felt so proud that Alexander had broken the law. just like Maverick in Top Gun, when he was talking to his flight instructor about his dad. Alright, Isaac. I'm gonna try to act this out. So you were there? Yeah, I was there. It's not something you tell your parents when the flight occurred over the wrong properties. It's classified. Even now, I could lose my job on the farm just for telling you this. Are you saying you're going to lose your job? I didn't say that. Anyway, I had him taxiing around the property on the ground by himself. It was a blustery day and the wind was kicking up quite a storm. The aircraft was hurled into the air, but Alexander had the sense of power to move. He flew over several properties and figured out how to maneuver it and bring it back down to land safely. So he did it right. Yeah, he did it right. He did it right then. But I think you could do it better. You've got what it takes to be a better pilot than he is. He's a shadow, he's gone now. Just, you can't live under his shadow. Your heart is up there with the clouds, just like his was. Mr. and Mrs. Palmer, I assume that you have given Alexander permission to take Janelle flying. Because if you have, or if you haven't, I have definitive proof that he has. They have gone on several flying dates, and several risky flying dates. Anyway, I'm getting carried away. Go ahead. Ladies and gentlemen, madame and messieurs, we all know that the best way to get the girl is to become a pilot. So I'm getting my license next year. When my family and I went to Japan for 5 months, Alexander learned over 1,000 Japanese kanji in 3 months.
Wow. So desu ka?
What's in there? Anyway, it takes a normal human being kind of half a lifetime to learn that, and that's a lot of work. Anyway, one day a Japanese friend of ours came over to the house we were living at and saw the Japanese kanji book on the table. He asked who was studying them and learned that Alexander was. So he picked up the book thinking, well, I'll test this little stinker and see what he knows. And asked what kanji were at different number locations in the book, just for fun. And was surprised to discover that Alexander knew each one, but he had also memorized them in order. Okay, we get it, you're smart. Alexander has learned also how to write code. He can sit for hours and hours teaching himself how to build cool software programs. Some of the code Alexander has written was used in a conference at Microsoft to Fortune 500 companies as an example of how to build Windows 8 applications. I know Apple's bigger than Microsoft, but you know, they're up there. Alexander also helped write code for one of the world's first cloud printing drivers for Epson and a cloud printing driver for Microsoft Windows Phone 7. He is currently developing a natural language inline responsive vertical market browser multi-use to rival Google. Alexander, I'm so proud of you. God has gifted you, and I pray that He will richly bless you and Janelle. You guys have done great. It's been a long 2 years. And maybe I'll see you in 3 months. Anyway, thank you. So if we could all just raise whatever water we have left in our glasses. A toast to the happy couple, and may the hair on your feet grow ever longer.